Raiders of the Lost Ark, the 1981 classic that introduced the world to Indiana Jones, is often hailed as a timeless adventure. But upon closer inspection, it's more like a relic of hokey cliches, questionable archaeology, and absurd plot points. So grab your fedora and whip, and let's dig into why Raiders of the Lost Ark might just be the most overrated artifact of Hollywood's past. Raiders of the Lost Ark follows the intrepid archaeologist Indiana Jones on a quest to find the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis can use it for their evil plans. The plot is essentially a glorified treasure hunt with more leaps of logic than a frog on a trampoline. Indy seems to stumble upon clues and locations with the ease of someone using Google Maps, making you wonder if archaeology really is just about being really lucky. The storyline hops from one exotic locale to another, with each destination conveniently leading to the next big clue. It's like a globe-trotting scavenger hunt where the prize is a dusty old box that melts faces. By the time Indy reaches the climax, you're less interested in the Ark and more curious about why nobody noticed that the plot has more holes than Swiss cheese. Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones is the quintessential action hero, but let's be honest, he's as deep as a puddle after a light drizzle. He's a rugged adventurer who punches first and asks questions later, a charming rogue who's somehow both a respected academic and a tomb raider. His personality traits range from smug to mildly annoyed, making it hard to take his character seriously. Marion Ravenwood, played by Karen Allen, is Indy's feisty love interest, who spends most of the movie alternately getting kidnapped and bickering with Indy. Her defining characteristic seems to be her ability to drink people under the table, which is impressive but not exactly compelling character development. She's less a fully fleshed out character and more a plot device with a penchant for getting into trouble. The villains are a parade of mustache-twirling cliches. From the scheming Nazi officers to the slimy French archaeologist Belloq, they're about as threatening as a pantomime villain. Belloq's main role appears to be making sinister speeches while adjusting his perfectly tailored suit, making you wonder if his real motivation is to become a Bond villain in his spare time. Raiders of the Lost Ark is packed with action sequences that are as over-the-top as they are implausible. The famous boulder chase at the beginning is a prime example. Indy outruns a gigantic rolling stone with all the grace of a gazelle, despite physics and common sense suggesting otherwise. It's a thrilling scene, sure, but it sets the tone for a movie where realism takes a back seat to spectacle. The film's numerous fight scenes are more akin to cartoon brawls than realistic combat. Indy dispatches enemies with effortless punches and whip cracks, while his adversaries obligingly fall down like bowling pins. The climactic fight on the truck is a roller coaster of absurdity, with Indy defying gravity, logic, and several laws of physics as he clings to the side of a speeding vehicle like a particularly determined cat. For a movie centered around an archaeologist, Raiders of the Lost Ark has a pretty loose interpretation of the field. Indy's method of discovering ancient artifacts involves breaking into sacred sites, smashing through walls, and generally causing as much damage as possible. It's less about preserving history, and more about grabbing whatever looks shiny and hoping for the best. The film treats archaeology like a glorified treasure hunt, where the only rule is finders keepers. Indy's approach to ancient sites is so cavalier that it's a wonder he hasn't been banned from every museum on the planet. The movie's message seems to be that historical artifacts are just cool things to steal and show off, rather than important cultural treasures that deserve respect and care. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a film that demands a massive suspension of disbelief. The plot is riddled with conveniences and inconsistencies that make you question if the screenwriters were just throwing darts at a storyboard. How does Indy manage to survive every death trap with little more than a few scratches? Why do the Nazis keep sending increasingly incompetent henchmen to stop him? And why is the Ark left in a nondescript government warehouse like an oversized paperweight? One of the most glaring plot holes is the fact that Indy's involvement in the story is ultimately pointless. The Nazis would have found the Ark and opened it regardless, leading to their inevitable face-melting demise. Indy's entire adventure is essentially a wild goose chase, making you wonder if he could have spent the whole movie napping and still ended up with the same result. In conclusion, Raiders of the Lost Ark is a film that, while entertaining, is more notable for its unintentional comedy and plot absurdities than for any genuine thrills or character development. Its plot is a convenient series of set pieces, its characters are as shallow as a desert mirage, and its action sequences are more cartoonish than suspenseful. The movie's take on archaeology is hilariously inaccurate, and its logic is so full of holes you could use it as a colander. So, if you're in the mood for a good laugh at a movie that takes itself way too seriously, dust off your fedora, crack your whip, and settle in for Raiders of the Lost Ark. Just don't be surprised if you find yourself more amused by the absurdity of it all than by any actual adventure or excitement. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Quirky Critic signing out.